One of the most important projects that actually influenced me, that supported what I wanted to do, was making a website. And like basically the performance task was like teaching you how to make your own WordPress website. It started making me think like I could start selling my own comics on this website instead of just like thinking I have to like go to this own business that already has their own stuff. I can make my own. After like designing a little bit and like formulating that, we review with our teachers and then they ask us some questions on what do you want to tell, like for all of them, what do you want to tell, what's the purpose of this. And like basically once you figure out your purpose and you figure out the context, you figure out what information you want to tell your audience, and you figure out your audience, and then of course you figure out what you want to present, like your speaker, then you formulate that into making a website, like you laying it out, or an animation, like sketching it out and onto the computer of, I think it was Adobe Animate, and for the other one it was Adobe Photoshop. And you just keep on going through that process until you get what you want.
The best project is one I'm working on now. It's my performance task, and in this performance task we are tasked to create either an editorial cartoon or a video to show climate change. I decided to show the ways that climate change affects more lower class and people of color, instead of, you know, the upper class, the wealthy, and white people in proportional rates that of which climate change is affecting people who don't have the money or the opportunity to do things about it. To complete my project, what I would have to do, and what I am going to do when I get home, is I have to source my images that I want to use to convey my message. I also would have to source data that supports my message, as well as I personally want to use words to define what my message is trying to convey across.
The best project I worked on was making a video game. I say that because the coding was just actually really fun to do, and I got a lot of help from like my peers and stuff, so I think that was really fun for me.
Heavily relies on teamwork and having to socialize with other people and brainstorm ideas and problem solve to achieve your goal.
After we had all the code, we attached our light bulbs to music, so it was a light show, and it was really fun. We each had our own performances, and we got to share and everything, so it was really cool seeing what everyone else came up with, and like all the creativity everyone put into their work.
Always revolve around what we're gonna do. So like when you learn something in algebra or in geometry, you contribute that to like what we're doing when you're coding or like in a different class.
One of the best ways to learn is through observation and experience, which is also kind of known as project-based learning, doing something hands-on, because getting hands-on. And all throughout my 4 years of high school, I've retained so much information and knowledge due to their project-based learning. Testing is not meant for you to gain knowledge, but it is meant that you remember stuff and then regurgitate it on a paper. It is proven scientifically that we learn better through experience, through hands-on work, actually through, to get more deep into it, I think that we should get more project-based learnings in school because it will help people retain more knowledge than testing will.
So the grading system, as it is right now, it's kind of stone cold to me. It's really just like you get a grade, a number, that's what you get. They need to be able to interact and actually like visualize and like complete certain tasks that have something to do with it that are actually engaging and fun. The grading system, that number just basically defines you.
Students, like, their confidence starts to like go down and their mental health starts to go down, and that's like a big thing. Your mental health should be straight, and when you're worrying about school and stuff like that, it's just not good. It's not gonna help you in the long run. And I think that the grading is actually really bad because like you can't the kids should be able to stay on task and stay interested. And when you keep telling a kid, oh, you know, pay attention, there's a reason why they're not paying attention.
Right.
They're not interested. So you should just incorporate stuff to keep them interested.
When I was younger, I had a lot of trouble staying focused and completing my work. And usually with that grading system, work was always due the next day. And like when I didn't understand it, the teacher would always repeat what they said, but it's like it didn't help me in any way. Like, in our school, work is always due like on a Friday. So like I have time to ask other peers or like ask the teacher to understand what I'm doing and then make sure I'm doing the work correctly.
Learning that failing the first time isn't the end of the world. I feel like being a maker is losing that fear of failure, especially when it's your first time, and losing that stress of overthinking an assignment, especially knowing that you get a second chance at it, and even a third chance if your teacher is willing to. And I think it's also thinking outside the box, because they'll give you a lot of assignments, as we talked about, that mean that you have to think for yourself. Your teacher just can't tell you, draw this, draw that, and get a 4. It's think of something that can get you a 4.
I like how Maker is hands-on with a lot of things because I feel like I learn best like that when you're hands-on and you get to interact with what you're learning with. And like what Christian said with the grading system, because like you already know if you don't do good on something, you can always revise it and understand your mistake and get better at it.
And I like how much freedom they give us with projects, allowing to like make our own groups if we want to and make the projects how we want them.